Wait, is this an isekai? The Our House episode feels like it. A person who doesn't fit in with the world is magically transported into another world that has magic and fantastical wonder. Come on. All that's missing is a track and for them to end up being the most powerful being in that new universe. From this first episode, I feel like this show is directed towards a younger crowd. It's usually people who don't have that many years under their belt who feel like loose. You're in this weird position where your mind is filled with wonder and possibility, but the world is cracking down on you, saying that you need to fit in, you need to conform. And one could even say it appeals to an older crowd who feel like once upon a time they were loose and the world has knocked them down a peg. And at the intersect of both these ages is the good old nerd. People like me who have never felt like they belong and have hobbies that the cool kids would view as being uncool. One of the cool ways they show this is the three characters being arrested for fan fiction, conspiracy theories, and eating their eyeballs. Clearly all aspects of nerd culture, especially the eyeballs. Look, beyond the wonder of cool magic battles, wild characters, and colorful designs, this series makes you feel like there's a story here. A story everyone can relate to. Even in the magic world, people deal with the same issue that Luz does in the real world. There is a literal prison for people who don't conform. Ida is like the perfect example of a Luz that chose not to go to summer camp and live freely. At its core, it does a solid job of giving me what I would like from a pilot episode. It introduces me to a cool new world and the characters that inhabited it. It does a good job of establishing the protagonist's goal and the new relationships that will help her get there. And it establishes an antagonist, which is this force of conformity. It's fine if they have one main villain, but this gives me a monster of the week feel and the idea that every obstacle we face will be an agent of conformity. Even if this isn't how it goes, the first episode makes me feel like that. They also include some action towards the end, which makes me think that, okay, this story isn't going to be carried by dialogue alone. There's movement in the show that can raise the excitement level. There's also inclusion of humor, which I can admire their efforts. From just this one episode, I get the feeling that this show is going to try to strike a balance between action, humor, and substance. Right now, in this first iteration, I believe the humor needs to catch up, but it's not so bad that I'm like, hey, get the writers out of here. When I look at the motives of the warden, why Ida wanted the crown and king in general, I get the feeling that this show will lean on subverting expectations, whether it's to give story more substance or help carry a joke. I love the character design so far. The warden and shapeshifting, pretty cool, and Ida looks pretty interesting, but it's a very predictable direction in terms of the world, at least for now. Shows where people go into a new world are always in this old age time where technology wasn't really a thing. However, sometimes different isn't what the show needs. We're talking about fantasy here, and right now this is what we deem as fantasy in our writing. I'm just excited to see how they explore the world and the characters that inhabited it. And to me, that makes for a solid episode 1. 7 out of 10.